I think most people should start building a real estate portfolio while you have your 9 to 5. I did it for 6 years. Like, that allowed me to escape.
Yeah. Turn it up. Demon child, I can get your mama rich. Got no problem getting in your sister's kid.
It's in rough shape. What's going on, guys? Gonna take you through a day in the life. Right now, I'm about to grab a coffee first. That's what I gotta do. We're headed out to see a foreclosure today with one of my members of my community. We're headed out to see a burr project that one of the members of the community just purchased. We helped them purchase. And then we're gonna hit an event later tonight that we're gonna be speaking at. First, we're gonna check out our community, just see if I need to reply to any messages of people that are in the Wealth Juice Inner Circle. And then check out one of these deals that we're working on, one of these 8 units that we just purchased. So we just purchased this 8-unit property in Wilder, Vermont. Me, Ryan, and our partner in Vermont, and then we raised some capital. It's an 8-unit that we're actually gonna turn into a 9-unit. This is just kind of the overview. It's a B+ asset class, and it's 2 properties totaling 8 units. But we closed on this property a few weeks ago, and our goal is to double investor money in about 5 to 7 years and pay back our LPs, and then raise rents from under market value, which they're at right now. We're gonna raise them about $400 to $500 per door so we can increase the NOI of the property. We purchased it for $1.128 million, and the price per unit is about $141,000. We're looking to get anywhere between a 14 to 19% IRR for us and our investors. And we raised about $475,000 to go purchase this property, and our renovation budget is somewhere between $100,000 and $120,000. I usually also check up on the community as well every morning to make sure that all the questions are getting answered of people that are trying to buy deals. And it just so happens here, Chelsea put a post in the community. She's just mentioning that her and her husband joined when they were in the middle of a flip and they were having trouble with it. They were flipping out of state. They're in New Jersey and they're flipping in Cleveland. So we just had to help them put some processes in and help them essentially get out of a bad situation. And now they just finished this property and they're gonna rent it out. It's probably gonna make like $700, $800, $900 a month in cash flow. But she was just mentioning that, she appreciated us, and she said things honestly didn't start to feel steady until we joined the mentorship. So that's always good to know. Also, last night, just recorded a podcast with our friends in Palm Springs, California that own the Terrace Springs Hotel. They just purchased this hotel for like $4 million and they're renovating it. We had them on the Wealth Juice podcast, and that was a fun interview that Ryan and I did. So go check it out wherever you would listen to podcasts, YouTube, Apple, Spotify. This podcast episode will be dropping in a couple weeks. And now we're gonna head out and check out one of these foreclosures. So it's beautiful, and it is 34 degrees. I thought we were getting into spring, but...
I know, I thought it was gonna be warm today.
Yeah, I was just watching some of these videos we took from the other day. We did a speaking engagement at the South Jersey Real Estate Meetup Group. We were talking about how to build your real estate portfolio and how to lean into personal branding to do that. So this was a cool event that we did the other night. And yeah, I'm looking to do more of these in-person events. I'll pop up a video on here so you guys can see what that was all about, but there was like 30 to 40 people there and it was pretty fun. The mistakes that people make is that people don't connect with the brand, they connect with the person behind the brand.
So what's the deal with this property?
So this property it's like listed on the MLS, but it's a foreclosure. So one of the members of our community who I just helped close a burr property was very interested in this property, but we got to get it at the right price. And I think they're asking $274. If we can get it in the $250 or below range, he could probably put $40,000 to $50,000 into it, maybe be all in for $300, $315. And I think the ARV on this property could be over $400,000. But I just need to check the location, and we need to go through and see the condition, because foreclosures are oftentimes not in the best condition.
Yeah, and do the sellers always tell the truth on everything that's going on with the property, or is that kind of why you do like a walkthrough?
There is a seller's disclosure, so most of the times the sellers kind of have to, because if you were to point something out in the disclosure, it could blow up the deal, or something that they didn't disclose.
Yeah.
But people embellish things, so you kind of always have to double check. And honestly, that's the advocacy for having a really good real estate agent too. Like, some people are like, oh, I would never buy with an agent, but that agent's fiduciary duty is to make sure that if you're buying this property, you go through and you see all the things that might need to be fixed prior to the negotiation starting.
Yeah. Is that kind of like the mistakes that some buyers make by not having like a realtor or someone?
I think if you're first starting out, you need a really good investor-friendly real estate agent that can help you navigate the seas. You don't need the agent, but having a mentor or somebody looking over your shoulder that tells you how to analyze a deal, what to look for, how much to put aside for vacancy, how much to put aside for maintenance. I think most people freeze. They just don't take any action because they're too afraid of the potential of a $30,000 or $40,000 mistake because they don't know what they don't know. And they don't have anybody looking over their shoulder saying, yo, this is something that you should look for, and this is what I've seen in the past. And if I would have had a mentor at the beginning, like, we'd probably be a lot further along. I remember on my second property that I bought, like I inherited tenants and I feel like I did everything wrong. Like it was literally raining inside my house day one when I went in there. And I got messages on a flip phone because I didn't have like a system for how they would like put in a maintenance request or something. And I thought that, I was like, this is fucked. Like there's no way. Like I just made the biggest mistake ever. Turns out after calling 12 people, like I just went there and we fixed the windows. I did it myself, but it was only like $1,500.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'll never do windows again. That was terrible.
People that are looking to purchase their first rental property, what do you feel like is the biggest mistake they make?
I think probably not understanding all their options. Like they don't know how many different funding mechanisms you can use. And then also not having the right contractors or just the team in place, like having a good lender, an agent, property manager, somebody who can do the work, a good lawyer, like a good tax professional. Like if you don't have some of these team players, yeah, you might be able to buy one property every few years, but if you really want to grow it, you gotta have a great team with boots on the ground. Because if you're doing all the work, and you have paint on your jeans all the time, you can only go so far in this game. You got to build the people around you. I think that's the biggest mistake, or just the things that people don't know when they try to get into the game. I think most people should start building a real estate portfolio while you have your 9 to 5. I did it for 6 years. Like that allowed me to escape. So I think most people don't think that they have to go full-time and that they have to be a full-time investor. But in reality, dude, like you can build a real estate portfolio on the side for years. And I think that's just not relying on one income. I know somebody, I interviewed him on the podcast the other day. He had a high-paying sales job. He was like the #1 rep in the company, and he got fired at Starbucks. They were just like, oh, we're letting you go. So it's like real estate just gives you optionality, and it's like it's the kind of thing where you could fall back on some of this income that you bring in if things don't work out in the W-2 world. Listed for $274. See if we can see the condition of it. In here. Yeah, I don't know if this is the type of property that was like they tried to rehab it and then just left it. Because like these floors don't look like they're like super old, you know?
It's weird. I'm on like an incline all here.
Are you?
All, yeah. Right here, for sure. I'm on an incline.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means though, because I'm not really...
I mean, these homes in Philly, like I bet I could look at the listing, this home is probably 100 years old. So some of that is pretty normal, but we can go in the basement and we can see.
That's where we're like really going to find out the foundation.
Yeah, and just like, I don't know what they were... That could just be drywall stuff, but...
Are you able to tell how much renovation's going to go into it by just...
You do a lot of the
coming
work.
through here?
I have a pretty good idea, but it always changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting because like the flooring kind of seems like it's like not old. I guess this flooring kind of seems a little more old. But...
I mean, I don't know how old it is. It's obviously cracking and stuff. The thing that you just want to worry about is if you go downstairs and you see like big cracks in the foundation wall, and like that's obviously something that we don't recommend unless you have somebody that's like really good with foundations. Like I'm working on a property that we are doing some foundation repair, but it's just to the front wall and it's more like structural on the outside. So I don't know.
You got any popsicles?
It's in rough shape. One of the biggest things I want to check when I come in here is to see the age of these systems. Like this hot water heater looks super old. I don't think this house has any central air. So that would be a thing. If you're gonna like put a bunch of work into this house, you'd want it to have central air to get top rent. So that's a big expense. And then coming into this basement to see if there's any like twisted joists. Right here, you're seeing like these two are sistered together and they look like they're cracked. Like these are super old. Just like rotted through, but they're sistered. So those are some of the big things. And then I look to see if there's any like large cracks in the foundation, just to see if there's like a major 20, 30K expense before we get into all the cosmetic stuff.
That's where we were standing in the beginning, and the hill kind of came down a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's like the higher point when you first walk in, and then kind of gets a little lower here.
Could just be also built really bad.
It could be, yeah. And just a pile of dirt in the basement too is always good.
Yeah, what do people use that dirt for?
I don't think they use the dirt.
It would just be
Not
more of an equity thing.
Yeah, pretty much. It would probably only cash flow a few $100.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that people look at. They're like, oh, how much am I going to cash flow? But if you build in 50 to 100 grand in equity, then you can refinance and pull your money out. It's a lot better than the, $300, $400, $500 a month in cash flow. But you can hold on to it for longer. Like I think that one would probably be good to hold on to. Turning a $230,000 purchase into putting 50, 60. Let's just say you put more than you wanted to. You're all in for 300. The property is probably worth 415, maybe 425. So you built in 125 grand in equity. And then you can probably rent it for $2,800, $2,900. Your payment's probably going to be somewhere around 22. So you have to factor in some expenses. If you self-manage it, you could probably cash flow. But the equity that you're sitting on, you can pull all the money out that you put into the deal. That's why that deal's good. Yeah. This one, We'll also look at this. I don't know if there was like a big leak or something at one point.
Oh my God.
Oh, bidet?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, bidet. Yeah, this isn't the house you normally see bidets in.
Yeah, dude, like, what is like?
Yeah, I mean he likes 150. I think 150. You're in a really good spot.
Yeah.
Because I really don't think it would be more than 150 to put into this place. I think that's just based on the square footage. That's a lot. 300. Your ARVs are over 4. But you just want to build in a buffer because it could get ugly if you open up some of these floors and.
What's going on with that wall?
Let's say from like a living standpoint, is this a home that you would move into if you weren't an investor? Like, would it make sense?
If you're house hacking, this is tough because I wouldn't recommend that somebody house hacks and buys like a major renovation. You could if you really knew what you were doing or if you had the right guidance, but oftentimes the house hacks best work out if they're sort of turnkey. Maybe you put 10, 15, 20 into it, then you can rent out rooms or rent out other units. But Chris would be buying this to either flip or to put renters in. He wouldn't live here. Yeah. We came in, we saw. I think we kind of realized there's more work that's needed, but that is probably the case when a foreclosure sits on the market it's been on the market for like 100 days. So a lot of times investors will come in here and they'll get in quick, but they're asking for too much. We're gonna go to his property in East Falls that we just helped him purchase. Great deal. You had the dump guys come in there.
The dump boys were there.
Took everything out. It looks awesome.
So we're 1 for 2 today. This one's a no-go.
Well, the other one he already owns.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I thought it was recent.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, we bought it. You bought it like a week or 2 ago. He looks at deals all the time, so this is just part of the game.
Okay.
You gotta go look.
Yeah, you gotta look.
So how did you find this? You just went on.
This one's on the
list
MLS.
or something?
Yeah, this was just on Zillow.
Yeah, we saw it on Zillow. He sent it to me, and we were just running through the numbers because it's a comparable to the property he just bought in terms of like, hey, if you get something for $230 and you can put 50 into it and the ARV is like 400, okay, you're in a good spot.
Yeah.
But this is a little higher. The one that on Indian Queen that he purchased was originally at 250. They dropped it a little bit. I was negotiating with the agent and it went down to like, they said no to a cash offer at 220 and we essentially bought it cash, hard money, at 230. He got $7K back in seller concession. So he went to 237 and they paid him $7K back, but the seller still netted 230. You should have seen it, dude. They were all arguing at closing. They all hate each other. There was like 4 sons and daughters of a father who passed away, and they were arguing over like $500. They had to ask us to leave the room.
What?
Yeah,
I thought we were gonna call the cops.
literally,
I
yeah.
was like, the cops.
She was like, dude, they had a ringleader there who was not. She was just, yeah. She was yelling at her agent. I felt bad for the guy. He told me when we put offers in, he's like, please take this off my hands. I was like, all right. I was hoping that the numbers were going to work out. But
I know, but it's okay. It's like
he's helping me out a ton because not all the community is like super close by. I don't do this with everyone in the community. You know, but the fact that he's local, it's like fucking perfect.
what's funny.
And I was the agent for him on the deal, so it's like even better. This other property you're going to like. It's cool. One of the recent members, he just purchased a property outside of the suburbs of Detroit because we have a great team in Detroit. Like it's dialed in. They're like investor friendly. They're the best. They have the great PM. They have great contractors. He purchased this property for $80,000. It immediately appraised for $100,000. So he built in $20K of equity, over 25%. Mm-hmm. It's going to cash flow like $400 a month. And he's getting tenants in right now, and he only had to put like $20,000 to $25,000 into this property, so it was perfect.
It seems to me like people think that the homes that they purchase, like investors, they need cash flow, but it sounds like it's more like the long game. Like if
You do need cash flow. You need cash flow to play defense. That's like appreciation's offense, cash flow's defense. So you buy a property that cash flows so that you can hold on to it long enough that the appreciation, you ride the appreciation of the forced appreciation, like the appreciation that you put into it, the sweat equity of the work, but also the natural appreciation of the 3 to 5% a year. That's how you get wealthy in real estate.
Okay.
The cash flow, $300, $400, $500 a month, it's awesome. You want it, you can stack that up. But most people aren't living off that cash flow until you get to like 30, 40 units anyway. So it's like, even us at this stage, we have 90 plus units. Keep in mind, we own them with partners. We're paying back limited partners. I don't live off almost none of that cash flow I live off of. And that's because I'm reinvesting it into the business and we're paying back some of our partners. And then when we refinance and sell, those are huge checks that come your way. And that's the money that you can, affect your lifestyle. I'm not saying the cash flow doesn't, but if you buy a property and you have the tax benefits, you can write off so much of your income. That's more impactful, I think, that people don't talk about. Everyone's like, oh, escape your job, go live on a beach, like cash flow, like
yeah. So it
cash
sounds
flow is
like-
harder to come by.
It sounds like cash flow is more of actually just building up a reserve for when mistakes or when issues do go wrong with the property.
I think most people won't tell you that. I think they'll sell you the dream of like, oh, go buy 10 properties and you can quit your job. It's like, dude,
You gotta be
maybe.
realistic.
Yeah, so basically what we'll do is Ryan and I started buying properties around here, duplexes, triplexes, like small properties, and I realized I was saving up my own money and deploying it, And I realized that people started to see our projects and the work that we were doing, and we were approached by someone that we met through the podcast, a good friend of ours, and he's like, guys, I have all this deal flow of this like 10, 20, 30 unit properties, but like we need money to go into these deals. So we put in our own money, but then we also raise capital from friends, family, and people that are in our network, and we go take down larger projects. So I'm happy to own 20% or 30% of a 20 unit as opposed to 100% of a single family. Like I want to grow because the appreciation on a $3 million asset is going to be the same percentage, but you get significantly more dollars out of that. So I that was how we grew. And then if you're like a high W-2 earner and you don't have time to go find all these deals, you can just park your money in a syndication, and we aim to double people's money in 3 to 5 years, sometimes 5 years, and you get double-digit returns backed by real estate. You get cash flow quarterly, you get all the tax benefits, and you get the upside of the appreciation, but you don't have to go find all these deals. That's how, if you're an engineer or you're an architect or something, like you can get into this game, but you don't have to be the sole owner and deal with the contractors and all the kind of headaches.
So it's more of like just finding investors. And have you done a deal recent? Like, what was the most recent deal you did with the syndication method?
We just had a 17 unit fall through this week, which sucked, and that would have been great. But most recent deal we closed about 2 or 3 months ago is an 8 unit that we're turning into 9 units. We're turning a commercial place, 2 commercial units into residential. It was one of the ones I was talking about earlier this morning on the computer. But the goal is to raise rents by like $400 to $500 a door. But we buy in like B+, A- class areas where there is eds and meds, so like healthcare, education, institutions, and there's also a big tech scene. You just want a high demand for jobs. So it's near like a big college where a lot of people are coming in and out, and there's the vacancy rate is like 4%, 0.4%. So there's always a need for housing, and that's where we look to buy. Similar to where we're at now, like there's eds and meds, Jefferson University, Villanova, St. Joe's. There's a lot of demand for new students coming in or new teachers, and just there's a lot of jobs. So that's why I like Philly.
And what does the cash flow even look like on a syndication, or is that not really a thing?
Oh, it's definitely a thing.
And who cash flows? Like, do you?
So basically, like how the syndications work is you're on a 70-30 split. We're general partners, and we own 30% of the deal. And then our capital partners, our limited partners, own 70% of the deal. So they'll come in and they'll typically get the split 70-30 after all expenses are paid, and we split the cash flow that way. So every quarter we're paying out cash flow to our investors. It's just the cash flow takes like 18 months to 24 months to like stack up. You really gotta a lot of times in the beginnings, the first 6 to 12 months, you're doing all the renovations, so there isn't much cash flow until you get the property stabilized.
Okay,
and that's like 18 months typically to get property stabilized. Oh. Bringing the counter in. Oh, it looks beautiful. That shit is so fucking heavy. Dude, I have it, like the, this in here, I guess you'd want to be as close to the foundation as possible for the shower, right? You wouldn't want to put it over there.
Yeah, unless he's like.
Because there's already water lines right there.
Yeah, unless he's saying like if I build it on top of something, we could.
Oh, okay.
You know what I
see.
mean? We can
To run it underneath.
Because they already went through the foundation to get the water line for the sink
Yeah.
and washer. So there's holes.
So, you know what?
It's the toilet and the other bathroom is straight. The other toilet is straight above, like right here.
Yeah.
On the other side of the foundation.
You know what I was thinking? I don't know if you want to do this, but to make it feel bigger, would you put these in the basement?
Could, but I'm just thinking like people don't want to go down to the basement either. You know what I mean?
My washer dryer's in my basement. My basement's in pretty good shape. I was just thinking to make this feel a little bit more like a true bathroom, but
Stackables.
True.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, I think the toilet's gonna have to go in that corner for the easiest part of
Toilet
it.
will, yeah. Okay, I get what you're saying. And then
Probably
shower. You still have plenty of room. Sink.
Yeah. And then I don't stack these. In
Okay.
the corner.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it looks great. That place is coming along smooth. Less than 2 weeks ago, he bought it. I did not think the counters would be coming in 10 days later. No, it was great. I'm going to the gym. I got to go down the shore later. We'll look at that foreclosure a little tighter. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I don't think that one's.
yeah.
I like these. I can move a little faster.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if they can move so you can get out.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
You want something that's like relatively clean like this. This is a pretty like cookie cutter, like solid deal. How much do you think your carrying costs will be? Let's say all things go well.
Because I could probably have it, hopefully, rent it out before I even make my first payment.
Oh yeah.
We're
yeah.
like very close to it. So maybe.
So you really could be in under 300, easily. 237, actually, yeah.
Yeah, but my payoff is 263.
Okay, got it. So just over.
Just over.
Yeah, cool.
But there's a chance it appraises for like 415.
I know, that's what I was looking at.
You know?
I ran a couple comps. You sent me one, 425, I thought, is what one of those. But
Even better.
I think 400 is a good number. I think 400 is a good number.
And we'll be in it.
Yeah, oh yeah, once you
know?
pull your money back out. Yeah, exactly.
No, it doesn't look like out at all.
Silent.
Play it how it is. Hey, I've been playing for some years.
All right, brother. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man.
That was
Thank
fun.
you.
Yeah. Well,
In another week, I'll have you come back and it'll be done.
yeah. All right.
We could do
With
that.
those guys, dude. Yeah. All right, we're about to hit a coffee shop. This one's Vault and Vine. I come here every now and then, like maybe in between some projects that we're looking at for the day. And then I got to head to the beach later this afternoon for, I think it's an engagement party. I don't know. Fiance's taking me there, so. Oh yeah. Yeah, it is cool in here. It's cool as hell. So guys, by the way, there's members of our community that are not local to Philadelphia that are buying out of state. Like we have members in California, in New York that can't really buy properties in their backyard. So they're going to markets like Augusta, Georgia, Detroit, Michigan, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So yeah, the rest of my day, I'm gonna hit the gym, I'm gonna grab some lunch, and then I have a few community calls later today, and then a buyer consultation, and then I'm headed to the shore. Let me know what you guys think of the vlog, if I should do more in-person, this type of style content where I'm at properties. Just drop a comment below if you
Hey,
want.
you tryna steal all the spill. Hey, I'm in the field, not a pill.
All right, boys. That was half a day in the life.
Hey, you want to spill, then let's spill. Hey, you know how real niggas is.